Hello there guys and welcome back to another live stream. My name's Mike aka Decimal Punked and we are in the Unreal Engine 5.5.4. Welcome to the stream and welcome to C.E.S.A.R. That's the name of the game. Those of you that have been following the streams on this, you'll have seen all the work I've been doing. Last stream we placed all of the lootable containers in the environment and we started the work on one of the behavior trees for the creature Gekanda. So what I wanted to do this stream, just because it's quite late now in the UK, I wanted to implement some sound effects. So I've got the one for the robot running. I've already got the sound cue for the walk. Which is that. And basically the run, I've got something new to plug in here. So yeah, I wanted to do the sound effects. So robot running, and then I've got a sound effect for the door and a sound effect for searching. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pause the music, the synthwave music. Right, so what we want to do is get up the robot running. So the running one does that, right? How come I can hear the sound in there? Oh, now it's doing it. So you can hear... It's just basically... the sound of the running doesn't match the animation. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to go into audio sound effects. So basically the walking uses those sound effects. So for the running we're using the robot footsteps. But if I just import the robot running that I've got and put those in there, and then we're gonna save all, and then I'm gonna select that and paste that there. And then how many sound effects have we got? We've got 7, so I'm just going to put these in here. So we need 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Oh my fucking god, that sounds scary. No way. Oh my god. Oh. Perfect. That sounds scary. Right, let's just test it in engine. That sounds so good. So, so good. Robot running. Done. So robot footsteps, robot running. So robot footsteps, and we've got the ambience there, which is space dream, ambient dream. Footsteps running. Right, next up is an automatic door. You hear that? It's very subtle. It's so quiet. So what we're going to do, we're going to make a queue, and we're going to call this SQ door. And this is, we can close the queues for the robot walk and run. The class for the door is going to be SFX. Okay, so what we're going to do we're going to continue the music. So there's a total of 9 doors. What I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to copy this and paste that and call it. So it's going to have the same attenuation as the door. One. Okay, I don't think it's a good idea to plug this onto the update because I'm pretty sure that's kind of like an on-tick event, so I feel as if it should kind of go I feel like that should go at the beginning. Which door is that? BP door. So it's the door leading to science. Okay, that's a good test. And then if this works, we'll adjust the code. Okay, I'm going to pause the music, guys. And we're going to see if it works. Oh my god. That's perfect. Do you know what the funny thing is? That sound effect is from a beer can hissing. There were so many sound effects to choose from, guys. I spent probably about an hour looking at sound effects, and That's the perfect sound effect. Like, there were loads I had to choose from, and I was playing around with one in Adobe Audition for a while, and it just wasn't working. And then this one, I was just like, that's perfect. It sounds like an air brake kind of thing. You can hear it. Oh my god. These little things, just little tiny details, guys. They really do make such a difference. I'm just going to turn up my actual volume here. Oh yeah, sorry, I've only put it on that door. Oh, it's perfect. Absolutely perfect, darling. Right, lettuce, not the vegetable, lettuce. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the... Oh. We're going to go through the different doors and just put in this code. Won't take long. And it does look like I just chose the correct place to plug that in. Because I'm pretty certain that if I'd hold on. Just to double check, it does have the attenuation of door. I want to actually... Sorry, I'm going to do one... Oh no, I can't. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll put in this little tiny bit of code to the other doors, and then we'll get the robot to chase us, because the door, playing the sound at location, has an attenuation setting. So basically, if a robot was pursuing me and it activated the door, I'm expecting to hear the door but slightly quieter based on how far away I am from it. So let us copy that. BP door, so we're going to go BP door 1. And we're just going to move that over there. Drop that in there. Door 2. Okay, save that. Door 3. Door 4. Door 5. Door 6. Door 7. 6. 7. Door 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Door 8. SQ door, and then the last one is door 9. Welcome to the stream. Right. Door one, door paused. Why is there a little comment there saying? Why is there a comment on that one and there's not on any others? Why is that? Okay. So door one, the first door, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seven, 8, 9, 10. It's a total of 10 doors. So what we're going to do, we're going to pause the stream music and we're just going to test all the doors. Ah, I know why it's doing that. Right, I know why it's doing that. Right, so the sound, because I exported and applied the transform from Blender, you'll notice if I go to my doors, you'll notice all the different doors, their origin point is right there. So over there the sound's playing at that point. So what we need to actually do, yeah. So you get the other actor, which will be the thing that overlaps with the collider, and then what should happen is instead of it playing at world origin, because that's where the transform point is for these doors, it will actually be happening, it's getting the location of whoever collided with the box, because if a robot passed through it, if we're like, for example, if the robot came through the highlighted door and we're over this end here, we don't want to get our location or the doors, we want the location of whatever passed through it. So just plug it in other actor to there and there. That should hopefully work nicely. So we're just gonna plug that in, guys. Right, I'm just going to go through all of these, make sure they're all plugged in correctly. Other actor, other actor. Yep. 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 And yeah, okay, so now we can test it. Okay. Now it works perfectly. I want the robot to see me. That works really nice. That noise is the perfect door opening noise. I'm so happy with that. And that attenuation setting, it worked perfectly. So if I go through a door, listen to the volume of it. And I was listening, and when the robot passed through it, the sound, it was quieter because I was at a distance to it. So I'm super happy with that. Okay, there's one more sound effect. I have sourced, which is a searching component. So right, so what I need to do, I just need to look at the nodes, because if a player is looting, I was wondering how to do this. Just wondering where to plug this in, because essentially if the player is looting, we want to play the rummaging sound or the searching sound. But then if the player was to cancel their search, because I don't want to lock the player into searching. I want to, like, if they're searching, they need to stand still. They search the container. And then once the search is complete, job done. So when they search, we start playing the sound. But as you can see, with that delay node, that's got the red comment around it. All I've got on there is the duration of the delay. So it's almost like it's almost like you want to have a custom event. So not too sure how to handle this one. It's like you want to say, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure on this one. Oh, that's interesting. So I just queried this with AI. Right, so it's saying to add a audio component, and then there's apparently the option to stop it. So that'll be quite handy. Let's bring in the sound. Alright, let's give this a go then. So with the we're gonna compile and save. We're gonna add audio. Oh, that's interesting. Whether the component is activated at creation. Alright, I'm just going to pause and see what happens. I knew that would happen. That's funny. Oh, that's funny. Does it say the duration? 5. So I made that to be the same length as the timer, which is here. So if I now on the auto activation turn that off, there we go. Excellent. Okay. I think the clocks have gone forward an hour, guys. Right, so when we're looting, if they're looting, play it. If they're not looting, stop it. Just trying to think here, guys. Hey, X-Ram, welcome to the stream, dude. Thanks for tuning in. Just gonna move the details panel over. So, if the barrel's not looted, we check is the player looting. If they're not looting, we say they are. We'll go down here and then we turn it off. So if I was to play the audio component, it's a tricky one. It almost makes me wonder if I should add this to the player. Oh, welcome to the game dev community, dude. I don't know. I mean, what kind of tips are you after? Is there anything you're specialising in? Are you modelling? Are you programming? Are you designing? I'm learning computer game design at university, so that's my specialty. But I can also 3D model, so... Am I a solo dev? At the moment, I guess I am. Yeah, I've got this. This is one of my university projects. This game. So yeah, I mean, I'm not employed by a games company at the moment, so I guess you could say solo, but I'm not indie because I'm a student. So, dude. If you're making a medieval game, go check out my itch channel below. I've got a medieval RPG that I made in Unity. It's currently on hold. Version 1.0 is available, but I've done quite a bit of work on it since I put it on itch. It's got a few more additions to the game, bug fixes, and once I've got past the end of April, I'll be getting back on that project and then uploading a new version of the game. But that's awesome. I love medieval stuff, dude. Oh, I'm a student at university, not college. Yeah, we're required to learn Unity as well as Unreal, so I've got experience in both engines. I have a preference for Unreal though. I just wish it didn't make my computer fans kick in as much as they do. Hey, hi Rad. Welcome to the stream, bro. Let me just open up the first person blueprint. I'm just wondering if I should just make the boolean on the player. If I had the is looting boolean on the player, then... Oh no. Because the problem is... the problem is, if the player cancels a loot, then because we basically want to lock the player in position, do a UI with a radial progress bar that says looting, and then during that, whilst he's looting, the sound's playing. But then if he was to cancel it, then we stop. Let's just plug it in and see what happens. Searching, right. So just we'll do it there. So this is for the barrel. Oh my god, that's a lot of comments. Oh, it's so cool that we've got medieval devs in the stream. That's so cool. I love medieval, guys. Medieval games are the best. Right. With the lootable barrel, I've got it so we're going to play the audio component. So I'm going to pause the music, guys, and we're just going to simulate and test this works. Oh, you can hear it. Hey, Gekanda! We got Gekanda. My dude. Okay, I can hear the sound playing. That works nicely. But if we go to multiple ones, so this is a space game, X-Ram. I modelled this all myself in Blender, and yeah, making it in Unreal. And we're using the behavior trees to handle the AI. So we play the audio component of the barrel, but then we want a condition to say let me just check here. So this, if we have a creature, this stops us being able to loot. So if there's a creature following us, we set the escorting boolean, and then that will either allow us to loot or not loot, because we're targeting the interact of whatever is hit, and the interact is over here. God damn, I don't know what the best. Oh, sorry, let me read the comments. Sorry, the chat's gone crazy. Trying to use Discord, but every dev 18 plus. What, is there a restriction to dev discords where you have to be 18 plus? My assets, are you doing it? Am I doing them? What do you mean, am I doing them? The assets. I've modelled everything I need for the game. Does that answer your question, Irad? How do I make an open world map? Yeah, I've modelled everything in this game is all of my own work. Everything that's modelled, 100% mine. The only assets that aren't mine is the audio. I don't make audio. That's the only thing. How do you make an open world map? You have the terrain tools. You can easily model a terrain in Unreal. There's like a specific... I'm not going to show you at the moment because I'm working on this one, but I do have other videos, XRAM, on my YouTube where I've modelled terrains in Unreal before. You can also model your own terrain in Blender. Blender's a free 3D modelling software. You can get it on Steam. You can model your own terrain in there and then export it and bring it into Engine as an object. So you've got two options there. Right, what was I doing? So we've got the audio sound effect playing on the barrel. Up here on the line trace, we press E, we initiate the looting. I'm just wondering. Okay, there is a way that we could handle cancelling the audio component playing based on whether the... Oh, it's tricky, isn't it? The question is, do I lock the player in position whilst they're looting? Or do I allow them to get out of it and cancel? Decisions. I feel like I was gonna let the terrain is the landscape, the walkable area where the player moves. So give me a minute, XRAM, and I'll reply to your comment. Just trying to wrap my head around this logic. So the audio component plays on the barrel. If I just freeze the player, if I just lock the player in position whilst they're looting, I was going to allow the player to move around. So if they initiated a loot with a lootable in the game, if the robot was coming, they'd be able to kind of cancel the looting and run off. But if I freeze them in position, I could just freeze the player in position whilst they're looting. So on here, The hit actor. We know that that's going to be the interact. We know the only things interactable are the three... Well, sorry. Oh my god. Is these. These are the interactables. So if we were to go, all of those have the same is looting. Oh, this is a little bit of a bugger. I guess what we could do is from the barrel cast to the player, and a way to stop them from moving is to target the character movement and set the movement speed. Let's have a look here. Oh, can you deactivate it? Interesting. Can you deactivate that? No way. No way can you just turn it on and off like that. Okay. We should already have... We've already got a player reference. Sorry, let me reply to your comment, X-Ram. Open world game, kill gods and demons to save Earth. There's also knights that you can kill to collect the loot, because you can't get food, kill knights get stronger. Oh, okay. No, that sounds cool. When it comes to making an open world game, I mean, I've kind of made one myself. There's a lot that you have to think about. Quite a lot of assets are needed as well, depending on how detailed you want the world to be. You're going to need a nav mesh. If you're doing it in Unreal, you're going to need a nav mesh to have like a roamable area for the NPCs to move on. Probably advise using the behaviour trees to also help with controlling the AI and planning it all. The Unreal website has an official documentation for setting up the behaviour tree. No, this is for university, X-Ram. Yeah, it's for university. What I'm going to do, if I just look at this code, we play the searching. If I come off of there, if I get the player, and then we want to get character movement. Oh, one sec guys, I think my kid's just fallen out of bed. Right, all good. Sorry. Right, target the character movement and deactivate. So basically, if you're on Twitch, on my channel, if you look below, you should see a load of panels that you can click, and one of them is my YouTube. If I just go on it myself, oh, there we go. Don't want to hear myself. Yeah, it's called YouTube Vault. So it's called YouTube Vault. Go on that, and then you'll find the channel with all the playlists and videos. Right, so we're deactivating the player's movement whilst we're looting, and then afterwards we're gonna activate I'll tidy up this code in a second. We just need to test. So when the timer's complete, we activate. Put that there. Ignore that mess. Okay, I'm going to pause the video and we're going to simulate. I can't move. Hey, we got Octo Nymph. Right, so I'm moving left and right. You seeing that, guys? And then if I can look around, but I can't move. So I'm pressing WSAD. I can move. I can look. That's really good. Okay, I think I'm going to go with that. My original idea was to let the player be able to move during the looting, and that would, you know, that if they were to move during the looting, it would cancel the looting. But I actually quite like the idea that if the player is not aware of their surroundings and not paying attention to the robots, and because it's also a bit of timing with this, right? Because if the player is if they can see the robot, it's all about timing and stealth. So, you know, you don't want to start looting if the robot's nearby. Like, you want to be very careful with it. So, right, if we go, oh shit. Oh no, he's gonna get me. He got me. Gelatino. That works so good. What's this game about? You're right. It's called C.E.S.A.R, Celestial Engineers Search and Rescue. You play an astronaut that's sent to space stations looking for friendly alien life that is hiding from the robot uprising. the robots are enslaving alien life to do their bidding. So you're kind of sent to these space stations overrun with robots, and your job is to search the ship to find the creatures. When you find them, you escort them to the center of the map to teleport them out of the spaceship, send them somewhere safe. So it's like stealth, suspense, rescuing. There's quite a few things mixed into that. That's it really. So nice and simple. Yeah, it's. I think it's cool. I think it's a nice little concept, and I'm very happy with how it looks and feels. And honestly, putting in the sound effects and everything, it just really, really polishes it off. Really brings it to life. I just want to test this again. Sorry. So we can move at the moment. We press E and we're locked into the looting. I mean, to be fair, if you think about it, Dark Souls. If you're looting a chest in Dark Souls, the character does an animation of opening the chest. You can't then just cancel out of it and move. So I think it's actually okay that I've slightly changed my plan of locking the player in whilst they're looting. And it makes it more tense because if the robot approaches, like, they're gonna shit their pants. So yeah, it's gonna be quite fun. So we need to speed up the animation on Gakanda there, so because he's got a sneaking animation. It looks like he's ice skating. Yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it? Because, I mean, you can have it both ways. You can have it so you loot something. It's a 5-second timer, so if you want to loot something, you've got to bear in mind you won't be able to move for 5 seconds. So it does make it more tense, because if the robot comes, the player's going to start freaking out. There's going to be a radial progress bar. So when you search on the screen, I'm going to have a little bar pop up with the countdown. So watching that countdown, and if an enemy AI approaches you, it's going to build suspense. So, but this is working really nicely, the code. Oh, we've got another creature, Octonymph. So you're only allowed to loot one creature at a time. So if you have one creature, we basically cast into the player's reference and set the is escorting boolean to true, and then that way you can't ever loot another creature until you've got it out. Buy the big maps. I don't know what a big map is. Is that an asset you're on about? What is a level on Unreal? Well, they're called maps, I think. Yeah, just a level. That's literally just this. So, you know, depending on however many levels you want, each, that's basically an instance of, or a map. So, yeah. I hope that answers the question. Right, let me tidy this code up. So we're going to have to replicate this to the other thingies. Okay. Just test that one more time. Sorry, I actually need to hear the music. Let me just turn up my volume. Sorry, I just had to just check something. Pre-made maps. I mean, I wouldn't buy any. I haven't spent a penny. You can make them yourself quite easily. There's loads of tutorials online for making the levels, you know, using the terrain to sculpt the terrain. A map is basically the level. Think of a map as the level. I don't know why ChatGPT is saying you add them all up. You know, you could have a main menu as a map or a level. They're called levels, but you can see here, look. Level, right there. You can see the path. But the primary asset type is map. Okay, so hold position, cancel if player moves. Yeah, so we'll just do that. If you're making an open world medieval game, it depends. Are you going to have dungeons? Do you want the dungeons to be a separate instance outside of the main world? I've done my open world medieval as just one level, if that helps. Right, so when we're looting, we play the searching sound effect, and whilst we're looting we deactivate the player's movement, so they can look around with the mouse but they can't move. And then after a 5-second delay, which is the looting time, after a 5-second delay, reset. Yeah, so we just basically activate the character movement. We let them move again. So what we're going to do, we're going to close the first person blueprint, and we're going to go into, so that is lootable barrel, so we're going to go into lootable crate, and then I'm going to have to add the audio component. It's up to you if you want to handle it that way. I'm planning on implementing dungeons in my game in Unity. I was going to have dungeons as a separate instance, a separate level. It just depends on what's optimal, but you know, if you have a big dungeon, it might be good to have it so you transition from the main map into a new map, which could just be the dungeon. Right, auto activate. So right, we're gonna add for the crate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 barrel, this crate, and then yeah, 4 of those. So add sound cue. Well, you're doing that in the Unreal Engine, so I've not done that myself in Unreal. I'd suggest just having a look on YouTube for some tutorials on transitioning from main world to dungeon or separate instance. I haven't done it myself in the Unreal Engine, so you'll have to look for some tutorials on that. Right, we're going to turn off the... If I play this, we're going to get that. Yeah. Okay. So now that we've done that, SQ searching. Right, so we're going to need to... Why has that gone wonky? So this goes... What I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy that. I don't use mods, and I wouldn't use mods for stuff like that. Again, unfortunately, that's not something I've done or used, so I won't be able to help with that. But I wouldn't use mods to... I mean, if you're a beginner, it might be helpful for you to get you started, but it's not something I've done myself, so I wouldn't be able to advise or help with any questions you've got on it. Right, so after we've set that is looting, we play the audio component. Set is looting, so... is looting. Play the audio component, disable the character movement. Play the sound cue, deactivate, and then we're going to move this over here. Right, so we're in the crate, so we play that. We deactivate the character's movement. 5-second delay, activate the thing. Right, so let's test this for the crates now. How do you make something an enemy? Well, you make a blueprint. Make a blueprint, call it BP enemy. You add in your skeletal meshes, animations, and then when you've made that blueprint, you just drop it into the level or map, and then you've got your enemies. What you're hoping for is when you open a chest, you'll get a creature. The creatures all hide inside the different chests. Okay, so we need to put a block in. Let me just make a note here. Noise for door, done. Noise for door, trim and redo the run sound effect. So put in fix block for player. Hey Unreal, welcome to the live stream, dude. Well, welcome to the chat. Okay, I'll just need a quick drink, guys. Bear with me. I'm working on... Sorry, catch my breath. I'm working on my space game, where you search for creatures hiding from the robots and rescue them, basically. And you've got a robot enemy. I'm just a bit deep in the dev at the moment. This is one of the robots. Who will chase you. Yeah, I've already thought about that, Ram. I was thinking about getting a different music track just for when you're getting chased. But yeah. Sorry, I've just made a note to put in a fix because where's the player? Oh, okay, that's an easy fix. If we add a boolean onto the player character, because at the moment all of these lootables have the is looting command component. So at the moment, if I just show you again, at the moment, I can basically loot 2 of those. So we can put a simple block in there to stop that. What's my name on YouTube? I've got a panel below XRAM. On my Twitch channel, I've got 4 or 5 panels. One of those is a link to my YouTube. It's called YouTube Vault. That's my I've got the same name on YouTube as I do on Twitch. Yes, I'm using behavior trees to handle the AI. Okay, so we're going to put in a restriction here, so this will stop the player from being able to loot multiple crates. We press E to initiate the looting, and we basically do a check. Is the player escorting a creature? If they are, we can't loot. But then we need to have a second one. Hold on. So the first block is the player escorting a creature. If they are escorting a creature, we don't loot. So then we'll go through and do a second check, and we'll check to see if the player is looting themselves. So by default, this is off. Okay, XRAM, no problem, dude. Welcome to the stream, guys. Right, so is looting, default value is false. So we're gonna get the looting, and we could do an if, and the condition is that. So in the search mechanic, we check that the object has the interact interface, and then we do a check to say, are they escorting a creature? If they're not, then we check to see, are they currently looting? Is the player currently looting? If the player is looting already, we don't allow another looting to be done. If they're not looting, then we call the interact function within a lootable, and then at this point we're going to want to set the player is looting. And then to get us back out of that state from within the code for these, basically here you'd want to set the looting. So give me a second, guys. Sorry, this is a bug fix. I feel like I've done the sound effects. Now I'm doing a bit of code with the... Oh no, to be fair, this does incorporate the sound effects. Right, so... Oh yeah, and we need to do it for the other 4 things. Oh my god. So much going through my head at the moment. Right, so at the point that we're saying the lootable isn't being looted, we're going to do the same for the player character. So we're going to come off of here and we're going to set is looting to false. So at the moment, if we loot, is looting, and then over here we're saying no, they're not looting. So what I will do is I will just get that, make room, okay, so that's for the barrel. Let's just test this for the barrel quickly. So I shouldn't be able to loot 2 barrels in one go. It looked like it worked. Okay, my block there has worked, guys. We can't double loot. Lovely stuff. Let's test it with the crates. It works. Hey, we got Kakanda. I love that little dude. Okay. So that's a very nice, simple fix then. Right, so now what we need to do is basically mirror that code for the remaining. You can see there the code is literally the same. Right, so once I've done this, I'm going to go to bed, guys, because my eyes are feeling quite heavy, and I think the clocks have gone forward today, so I need some sleep. So we've got the lootable barrel, and we've got lootable crate, so we've got 4 more to do. Won't take long. So basically, after the loot set is looting, that's where we're going to plug in these bits before the delay. We'll need to add in the sound component. Turn off auto activate. Okay. I don't make my games for free. I have been making games as part of my university degree. I don't charge for them when I put them on itch. They're available free to play. You'd need to find the assets for trees and grass. I'd recommend looking on Fab. There'll be plenty of things on there for you. Right. Is looting set? No, I don't. I don't spend the money. If there's, well, the very early games I did, I got free assets from the Fab marketplace, Unity. But now that I can model, I make my own assets. If you learn how to 3D model, you'll be able to make your own stuff and save some money. No, the university doesn't pay for it. I just said if you go on Fab, it's a marketplace where you can get free assets. The university doesn't pay for the assets. Alright, sorry, I'm getting distracted from my work here. Right, play the searching component. Deactivate the character movement. And then delay for the looting. After the looting, reactivate character movement. Set the variable within the locker and then set the player is looting to false. And if we come out, that should look the same as that. Lovely stuff. Okay. Right, so we're now going to go into locker C. Actually, let's just test this. So locker B. It's always good to just test it. So that's atrium. Locker B for blue. There we go. We can't move. Okay. So we're going to open locker C. We're going to copy the name of that, go into here, add audio, give it the name, and then hit the sound cue. And then we're going to search for the auto activation and turn that off. We're going to compile and save, and then we're going to move all this just out of the way while we copy and paste the other bit of code from the previous one. So get those. That, and that. Copy. Go into locker C, paste. Move that up. That goes in there. That's already connected. So then we get this one and we move this there. We plug into the delay and then after the delay reactivate. And then we're gonna say the lootable is not in the looting state. Target that, plug that into there, and then just move that back. And then if we compile and save, so if I zoom out again, that code should look the same as that. So that is locker C. So locker C is the copper locker, which is over here. Oh fuck. We've been found. For anyone that's wondering, that isn't a bug. what he's doing there, it's not a bug, it's just I've not coded that in just yet. Basically, when it gets to the player's location, the robot's meant to attack. So that's just not been programmed yet. So right, so locker C. That looks to be working. Let me just check one more time. Same thing there. Why is that wonky? Okay, 2 more to do. So first thing is to add the audio component. Add audio, do that, and then I'm here searching, sound cue searching, auto activation off, save, compile, save, and then turn that off there. I'm going to go into here and we're going to copy these bits and then drop those in there. Connect that to that. This one comes down right there. Delay. After the delay, we're going to reactivate the player's movement component, and then we're going to set the is looting boolean on the container to off, and then we do the same for the player character, and then bring that up, bring that down. Okay. Compile, save. So that's the green locker. So if I just zoom out again, just to check, the code should look, the blueprint should look the same. Okay, so let's test the green locker, guys, which is science. This one. Oh my god. Okay. So that is BP lootable locker G done, which means there's only one more left to do, guys, which is the yellow locker. So the first thing I'm going to do is copy the name of that audio component, go onto the yellow locker, add audio, paste, click on the audio component, make sure we get it, the sound cue, search for auto, turn off auto activation, close that, compile, save, And then we're going to select these. And we're just going to move them way out of the way there. And then we're going to go into here and copy these bits again. I think that's the ones we need. Okay, so that goes in there, that's in there. Get the red thingy-majiggy. Okay. Alright, so we set the looting. We set is looting. And then we play the queue. We deactivate player's movement. We have the delay. After the delay we activate, set looting, and then set the player's looting. So if I just save that, if I zoom out again, the code should look a mirror of this. Okay, let's test the yellow locker, guys. Hey, we've got Gekenda. Such a cool little dude. Okay, so that works. So we can't multiple loot at once. I've fixed that. Okay, so if I just look at my audio, I've got the robot footsteps, I've got the robot running, got the automatic door noise, and we've got the searching sound effect. So even though I was modifying the code here, it still did, it was relevant for to this stream because it's doing this part, which is the sound cue for the lootable. Which means we now need to get a separate sound effect. So basically we'd have a sound effect for when the object is looted. So for the barrel, we'll get like a barrel lid being removed. For the crate, we'll get like an opening noise. And for the locker, a locker opening. So 3 different sound effects to source. I will source those offline and implement those in the next stream, along with more work on the creature behavior tree, and sort out the speed that their animation plays as well. So what's the time? 2 hours 4 minutes. That's not a bad stream. Right, so I am going to call the stream there then, guys, because I do need to get some rest. But I hope you've enjoyed that. If you did enjoy it, feel free to follow on Twitch to stay up to date. If you want to see any previous streams that I've done, feel free to check out my YouTube channel below. I've got playlists for Unreal, Unity and Blender. And thanks for watching, guys. I will see you in the next stream.